Hey guys, it's Ashley from acbsgotbookcitement, and I am here with my April WrapUp and May TBR. Yay! Yay! I didn't get it up as early as I did last month, but you know. So, in the month of April, I managed to read a whole 6 books. That's okay. 3 of them were mangas, so they count as books technically, but they're really fast to read, so yeah. But I'm going to tell you about the books that I read in April. So the first book I actually finished. I read the second half of the manga Death Note Volume 1 by Sugumi Oba and art by Takeshi Obata. I ended up giving this book 4 out of 5. I really liked it. It's about this boy named Light who finds this Death Note, and a Death Note is a death god's notebook. A death god is a shinigami or something like that. Don't quote me. But with this notebook, Light can write in a person's name, and if he writes in their name, pictures their face, they're dead. He can kill them with this notebook. And it's about how this high school student, Light, takes this power and just runs with it and does a bunch of stuff. So I finished the second half of it. I really enjoy this manga. It's really good. So I hope to get to read more of it. Light is just crazy in a way. Like crazy like a fox. But he really kills people, a lot of people. And some of the people he kills I kind of liked and wanted them to be in the series longer, but he just killed them. So yeah, I can't wait to see what happens with that next. The second book that I read in the month of April was the Autobiography of Mrs. Tom Thumb. Now this is by Melanie Benjamin, and it is a historical fiction novel about this lady named Lavinia Warren Bump, who was born in the 1840s? It could be 1840s. And she was born with a type of dwarfism where she was really teeny, but she's perfectly proportional. And it's about her life and her joining a traveling circus freak show kind of thing. She was with P.T. Barnum, and he set it up where she went to all these different countries. And just based on her size, you know, it's kind of like a freak show, kind of not. I ended up giving this book a 3 out of 5. I was really excited to read it. But first off, I wanted Lavinia. She was fun, but she just likes the fame. That's why she tours, because she likes the audience and people looking at her and stuff like that, and I don't blame her for that. I don't. But the second thing is, that's kind of sad, is she marries another little person. His name is General Tom Thumb, or Charles Stratton. And I wanted it to be like a little fairy tale romance between this little couple, and it really wasn't. She married him for publicity, for money, for a better show, and I don't know, that's kind of depressing. And then it got a little long and winded, and there were weird time jumps, and yeah, I wanted it to be really good, but it was just okay. The book that I read, and really the 4th book, is another manga, and it was volume 1 and 2 in Soul Eater by Atsushi Okubo or something like that. I ended up giving both of those books a 3 out of 5 as well. They were kind of a weird manga. It's about these death meisters, and they wield these death weapons, and the main goal is that they want to collect 99 human souls and 1 witch's soul in order to make the ultimate death weapon. The weird part, the death weapons turn into people, and then they turn back into weapons, and it's just kind of weird. I don't know, like when there's a bunch of fight scenes in it, and you can see faces on the weapons, and it's a little odd. I like the second book better than I like the first book, because the first book was a whole lot of setup. It was introducing all the different Deathmeister teams, and I don't know, it was a little choppy, and it didn't flow together very well. But the second book was better. Can honestly see it being a way better anime than a manga, because there's so much going on, and some of the humor is a little out there. And I don't know, I enjoyed it. My library has a bunch of the issues, so I'll probably continue and read them. Yeah, there's like, I know my library has at least up to 18, which is a lot. which is a lot. The 5th book that I read was Delia Shadow. This is by Jamie Lee Moyer. I ended up giving this one a 3.5 out of 5. It was okay too. I really thought it was going to be an awesome book because it's about this lady named Delia. She has the ability to see ghosts, people who have recently died, and she tries to move to New York to escape all these ghosts roaming about, but she's called back because this one ghost really is haunting her. And so she comes back home to San Francisco, where she finds out that this ghost that's haunting her was the victim of a serial murderer, and now she has to kind of help catch this murderer so she can stop being haunted by this ghost and so more people don't die. Yeah, and it alternated between Delia and this detective named Gabe. There was a romance between them. First off, I really like Gabe. He was probably the most fun character to read from his perspective in the book. Delia, she's boring. That was the main problem that I had with the story, is Delia is a boring narrator, she's a boring character, she's a boring heroine, and you want somebody exciting, and she wasn't that exciting. And also their romance was just, you knew it was inevitable that it was going to happen, but it felt like they had no chemistry. They were boring. Boring together. Delia is boring. That is the story. And the last book that I read in the month of April was Hemlock by Kathleen Peacock. I gave this book a 4 out of 5. It was probably my favorite book of the month. Tied along with Death Note, Hemlock was my favorite. Hemlock is about this girl named Mackenzie. She lives in a little town called Hemlock, and her best friend was murdered by a werewolf. And thinking, werewolves? Werewolves are all over the United States now. There is a disease called lupine syndrome where if people are bitten, they turn into werewolves. And the government has set up these rehabilitation camps where all the infected are herded together and put in a camp and away from the public. So Mac is trying to find the werewolf that killed her friend. These trackers move in, and trackers are kind of like a werewolf hate group, vigilante group, and they're really dangerous and really bad, and she has 2 hot boys that want her affections, kind of, sort of, yes. So I really liked Hemlock, and I need to go get my hands on the sequel Thornhill. I'm going to have to request it from my library because Hemlock was really good. I really liked it. It was definitely a page turner. Well, once you started reading, you really couldn't stop. Like, I had to force myself to stop sometimes. So that is all the books that I read in the month of April. Now for what I'm planning to read in May. I'm hoping to get through some books, but I've been going pretty slowly as of yet, as the start of May. So what I'm reading currently is Dead of Night by Jonathan Mayberry. This is a zombie novel, but these zombies are different than normal zombies. I don't know how to explain it. It's not like a warm body zombie. It's not like R. These zombies are the people that turn into zombies. They're like trapped inside their own heads, so they can see what they're doing and they can see them killing all these people, but they can't stop themselves. They're like trapped inside their own bodies, but they are technically dead. So yeah, it's a little hard to understand. And this one starts off at the very beginning of this zombie apocalypse problem kind of thing. So you're with the characters from when the first undead guy comes onto the scene to wherever it ends. I am on page 164. I am liking it. I like Jonathan Mayberry's writing. This is more thriller kind of thing, so if you're into an adult thriller zombie kind of book, yeah, that's for you. And then my friends Keisha, Alyssa, and Christina from the Forsaken 707, AC Reads, and the Princess Gummy Bear are doing this thing for the year of 2014, hashtag a YEARATHON. So for the month of May, the theme is to catch up or finish a series. It runs from May 5th, which is Monday, to May 11th. So I plan to read Behemoth by Scott Westerfield for that readathon, hopefully, and if I don't make it in time for the readathon, I'm still going to read this anyway. But this is the second book in the Leviathan trilogy, and I figured I could read this, and it would count, and I could catch up on this series. And then another library book that I hope to read is Flesh Eaters by Joe McKinney. This is another zombie book. I like my zombies. Feeding frenzies, you know how it goes. I am going to read 2 books with my friend Keisha from the Forsaken 707. We are going to read Proxy by Alex London together and Reboot by Amy Tintera. And this book is it's a dystopian about where there are 2 classes of people, really rich and really poor, and the really rich people can get away with anything, and for whatever they do wrong or do bad, another person is punished for them. So it's about these 2 boys, Knox and Sid. Knox is from the wealthy family, Sid is a proxy, so whatever Knox does wrong, Sid gets punished for it. And the punishments vary on how severe Knox's crimes are. But in the end, they run away or do something like that. So yeah, it's shiny. Yes. And then Reboot is about this girl who 5 years ago I died, 178 minutes later I woke up. So she is a reboot, and reboots are faster, stronger, everything, depending on how long you've been dead. That's how more powerful you are when you wake back up. And so she is the reboot that was dead the longest. So I think she's kind of unemotional, and she works at a training camp, and yeah, something about her journey. And then, if I finish all those, I hope to read Earthfall by Mark Walden. This is an alien book, I think. Aliens come down, maybe to London? I'm not sure, that could be Big Ben. But I saw this at my library and I thought it looked good, so I picked that up. And then, I really need to read this. I need to read Exile by Kevin Emerson. This is an ARC. I won it from a blog giveaway. I cannot remember what blog giveaway it was, but it comes out May 14th this month, so hopefully I can read that. And I think this is about a band or something, rock and roll, passionate ode to love, rock and roll, and the freedom that comes in the moment when someone believes in you. Yeah, so tell me how your month of reading went in the comments below, because I'd love to know. And that is all I have for this video.